Welcome to WaunaTalk. My name is Gabe Altenburn, and I will be your host as we discover new things, meet new people, and have a blast doing it. On today's segment, I have with me Sue McDade, the village's Community Services Director. Sue, thank you for coming. Really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. So, first question, how long have you worked for the village?
I have been working for the village of Waunakee for 21 years.
That's incredible. Always in the same position, or how is that?
So I think one of the reasons that I've been in the village of Waunakee for 21 years is about 15 years ago, my role changed. And it changed because we opened the village center. So when I came to work for the village of Waunakee, it was a part-time position, which worked perfectly with my family life at that point in time. But this crazy idea of building this community center here in the village came to fruition, and boy, my life changed. And so 21 years total.
That's awesome. I know it'll be hard, but can you explain what you do on a normal day and what does your position entail?
So my position entails, I lead the community services team, and that team includes the management of the village center, not senior services. That part of the village center is managed by Cindy Mosman, but the remainder of the village center is under my department. All of the recreation programming that is offered throughout the village. And on the park side of things, my responsibility is on the planning side. So day-to-day operations of the park is handled under DPW and Parks and Bill Frederick. But on the planning, construction side of things, that's on my desk. So your second question, Gabe, about what does a normal day look like? I think that is my favorite part of my job. And the answer to my question is there is no such thing as a normal day. Every day when I sit down, I have some tasks that I think I need to complete. Maybe that's payroll, maybe that's approving bills, maybe that's getting ready for a park committee meeting. But the things that come up throughout the day, because there's such a wide variety of programs and activities that come out of our department, make every day a mystery. And there is always a challenge that I never saw coming. One of my very favorite stories from years ago is I was tasked with selling the village's caboose. And I will tell you that when I was in school learning to do my job, nobody ever told me that I was going to need to figure out how to sell a caboose.
Incredible. How did you get to this position? What was your educational background and career path, and why local government?
So I went to college as a business major, but I had spent my high school career as a summer lifeguard. And to earn some money while I was in college, I took a job at the college's swimming pool. The woman who was my supervisor actually was in charge of the Park and Recreation department at our school. And she pulled me aside one day early on and said, I think this is for you. I had some room for electives in my schedule, so I took an intro to Park and Rec. The rest is history. It was a nice complement to my business degree. Sadly, I will say my dad's favorite thing about me becoming a Park and Rec major was he thought somebody would teach me how to play golf, and that never happened. So that was my undergraduate degree. I got a degree in Parks and Recreation and Business Administration. I worked for a couple years in the community where I went to college, and then I traveled to Penn State and got my master's degree in Leisure Services Administration and Public Administration. So it was a nice match, and I've been here my whole career.
Awesome. So you've been here for a while, so I'm sure most people know you, but what do you think many people in the community don't know about you that would kind of offer a glimpse into your passions?
I am a grandma, and right now that is probably my favorite job. I have 3 grown children, and my oldest son is married with 2 little girls, and so that is definitely, if I had a choice of where to spend any of my time, that is where it's going to be.
That's really sweet. So can you tell me about kind of where you grew up and what defined your childhood?
Absolutely. So I grew up in small town Minnesota, a town of about 3,000 people that, believe it or not, was the county seat. So it was the biggest town in 30 miles. It was Lake Wobegon. We rode our bikes to the swimming pool every day in the summer. We went to the public library. It was a very different time than it is now. You hear those stories about going out to play and coming back when the street lights come on. That was my childhood, 100%. And I think that play and that freedom in the summer is part of what really drew me to Parks and Recreation, because really, that's what we're trying to promote, is people taking time in their day to play, whether that's learning something new or playing a sport or traveling. That was important to me, and I think it's important to everybody.
That's really awesome. So you're a department head, so what is the most important characteristic of leadership, and how do you think you embody that?
Wow, that is a good question, Gabe. I think it is my role to empower my team. I cannot take credit for the wonderful things that happen in the Community Services Department, but I do like to take credit for picking really good people. And our team is top-notch throughout the state. If you ask people about the village of Waunakee, they are impressed by the programming, the activities, the people that work in our department. And I think my role is to empower them to be their best, and then to be there to support them when they get stuck. And we're making good things happen.
Absolutely. And then how do you measure success? You have a large department. How do you measure it for that department, for your staff, and then for yourself?
I think I used to joke with the old finance director. He always wanted me to show him the numbers, and I always wanted to share with him pictures. I think it is our role to serve the community, and in whatever way that works for the community. So that is ever changing. Circle back to that idea that something different on my desk every day. I think we are successful when we are engaging with people from all walks of life. And if we're not meeting their needs, I think the second way that we're successful is by being approachable. So if there is an idea that a community member has, I want them to be able to just say, call Sue. She'll have a conversation with you. And probably the best example of that recently is a project that I am super excited about, and that is our new disc golf course in Rip Park. We had played with that idea half a dozen times over the last 20 years, and it just never came together until, as John Lobmeyer used to say, the banana was ripe, and a citizen called and said, "Can we talk about this?" We gathered everybody together, and 6 months later, we are just about ready to open a new disc golf course in Rip Park. And that is success right there.
That's perfect. So do you have a personal motto or words of wisdom that you apply to your job?
I don't know that I have a motto, but I would say my words of wisdom for local government in particular, and maybe life in general, is always to try to hear what the other person is saying. It doesn't mean you have to agree, but if another person has a question or a concern, or they're seeing something differently, think to try to stop and really appreciate that other point of view helps us all get to a good place. Whether we're putting out a news release or talking to somebody on the phone who has questions, and sometimes you want to say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you don't understand. But to really take a step back and to figure out why they don't understand or where they're getting stuck, a lot of times leads you to a better place. So that would probably be an approach.
That's really good. So last question, what advice can you tell someone who is interested in local government but doesn't really know how to get started?
I would say get started. Whatever that might be. And, is your question getting involved in local government as a citizen or getting involved in local government as a profession?
However, yeah.
I think no matter what it is, get started. And it's easier than it sounds. If you are interested in governing as a citizen, reach out. I know here in Waunakee, we're always looking for new people to serve on committees and be a participant. If governing is not your thing, but you still want to be involved, reach out to a department and offer to volunteer. Certainly, library, senior center, community services, even parks. There's so many opportunities just to volunteer and be a part of making things great in your community. And then I would say if perhaps a profession of local government is come to work for us. We are a great place to work. In particular, we just love to hire both youth in our community and people who are looking for part-time work. It's a great way to give back to your community, earn a little bit of money, and learn some new skills. So
wonderful. Thank you so much, Sue. Are you ready to pick who's next?
I am ready to spin the wheel.
And the winner is Phil. Big thanks for Sue for coming on to the show. On December 15th, I have with me Phil Willems, one of the Village's board members on the show. Make sure to follow the Village's social media and website for more important Village up. Until next time.